folks, it's that time of year again where I rank all my beautiful board games behind me, to the side of me, to the left of me, to the right of me, to the front of me over here. I got a ton of stuff in my closet too. There's tons of board games. And so I do this now on YouTube every other year. Last year, I had 252 games. This year, only 223 of them. My goal was to cut it down to 225, and I did that, -2. So I'm really good, went below the mark there. It's kind of bothering me now that my collection's gotten so big, and I don't get to play games as much now, especially with all the little ones I have. So the answer isn't trying to figure out more game time. It's let's cut down on the quantity here, improve our quality here. So that's what I've been doing, just getting rid of a few more games, kind of trimming it down so that next year I can be more manageable. Hopefully play a lot of these games only got played once, sadly. So a lot of them, if you're in the top 100, you definitely got played more than once. And some of them outside the top 100 got played more than once. But I want a lot of my games being played more than once a year. So the answer to that is to stop the growth and just kind of, start slimming things down. So this year, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to tell you if a board game went up or down. I'll show you here in the notes. Other than that, though, I don't really think I'm going to explain why every time. Now, if you're thinking about, I'm going to start talking about these 223 to 211 right now. And you're thinking, wait, Matt, how come this one that's at the bottom of your list went up? Well, that means it just survived the purge from the year before when I had 252 games. We did get a ton of new games. I want to say I had the count, and I don't see my paper here. I think it was 30-something, almost 40 games added to the collection this year, so not bad, right? And a lot of keepers, a lot of the ones that I reviewed this year, you will see in this collection. There may be one or two that I reviewed that you will not see here because they didn't last for whatever reason. And I can't remember which ones they are off the top of my head. But either way, let's go ahead and start with number 223. It is Frosty the Snowman. This is a Funko games thing, one of those little box, little slide games. I think it was like for half off at Walgreens a few years ago when we were doing that day after Christmas Day shopping, which I love so much because everything is discounted. And when we were looking over everything, I saw this. I picked it up from my wife because I know she's a big fan of the cartoon. She forgets about it every year, but every year she plays with me around Christmas. So by the time this is out, we're probably playing the game again. And as we play the game, it's a fun little card game where you're trying to move your playing cards and switching little tiles on the board to have it match the emblem that you see on this tile, this other tile here. And then once you're done with that, you flip over the next card and then try to match the kids in order again. You at the hardest setting, which is playing the entire stack, that can almost run you through the whole deck. It's a really hard game. You really got to think about it. You got to be very strategic on what you do, and you got to work as a team. And it is really fun. There's a lot of these Funko games that are out there right now that I want to play. There's the Christmas Vacation one that looks really fun. I think they have an Elf one too that I'd like to play, even though I'm not a big fan of Elf. Gremlins, I love Gremlins. So, I mean, all those games are a little niche. I know they're nothing big. They're just family fun games. But if you're a family that likes Frosty the Snowman, this is a cheap little game that is a ton of fun, and my wife plays it too. And it beat out 27 games above it that got purged, which is why it moves up. My number 222 is Chateau Rocker. This one got a reprint. I didn't even know it was getting a reprint. But I'm so happy. I think it has the Cheesy Gonzalez expansion in the reprint. Usually they do include that. And if so, go ahead and get this game. This is such a fun game. I have the original edition here. My girls are not yet old enough to play it, but my nephews are. We did have to amend one of the rules where you can push tiles only once, shifting the board only once per turn, because what people were doing in our games, my nephews just love to be just jerks. And they were just trying to eliminate, all three of them would team up against one person, eliminate all their mice, because mice can fall through these traps and get lost forever. And so they were really just destroying the game. But then I made that one simple rule change, and then it just changed the game. You're playing the game as it should be played, and playing the game as it should. And they may have amended that rule in the new version too, because it may not exist in the new version. But I'm so happy to see it's out there now. Really fun game, totally worth it. Can't wait. My girls are almost there. Maybe 2 more years they'll be there. They'll be able to start playing that game, and we'll be having some serious fun. But I love Chateau Rocker. I've never brought this out to my big board game group, but I think I could, and I think they'd love it. It's just that good of a game. All right, number 221, my first new game added to my collection here. That's the lowest one I'm going to mention, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It is Stefan Feld. Rialto. I've always wanted to play Rialto. I never liked the cover. I thought the cover looked hideous. I actually think the game doesn't look that good either. But this year, my theme was do not judge a board game by its cover. There's a lot of ugly games out there that have good gameplay. Me personally, this style isn't for me, but I got it, and it's a lot of fun. We played it more than once after my review. I did get it back to the table. Just about all of the games that I got this year got back to the table, except for the last few, which I reviewed. And those are kind of hard because, if I reviewed it just like a week ago or something, I'm probably not going to get it to the table again soon enough. But I try to get everything in there. Played this one again. This is fun. A lot of people talk about this one. I'm not a failed fanatic here. You're going to see a ton of failed games, but not every failed game. Seems like some people, when they do this list, and I get it, you like Stefan Feld, they list like every Stefan Feld game just about. Me, I'm going to name a good bit, but when it comes to Feld, he's hit or miss with me. He's 50-50. So, and this is on the 50% side. That's actually really good. Solid game. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know how much it's going for. It can't be going for that much, can it? I don't know. Who knows? But either way, really good game, Rialto. My number 220 is, wow, also Stefan Feld. Didn't know that till right now. It is Raman Pirates. It's an older one. No one mentions this, but it's a really fun game. You're basically playing out these pirates, moving across the board. It is point salad, like classic Stefan Feld point salad. There's a million ways to score victory points. There's not one designated route to victory, and I always love that in a game. It is kind of simple, but there is some strategy on where you go, how many turns you want to take. Sometimes you take back-to-back turns. Saving your pirates to fight over the bunk space at the end of the round is really fun, even though it's kind of lame, right? You're just rolling a die. But other than that, it's a fun game. It does cost a little bit. I was always hoping that they would kind of reprint this, like when Queen Games was like, a lot of people retheme, and repackage failed games now. And I thought this would be one they do, but I guess it just never was that popular. For me, I really enjoyed it, and that's why it's number 220. At number 219 is a game that's been in my collection for years. I just haven't played it in a long time, or part of it I haven't played. Descent, I'm going to say / Imperial Salt here, because I do have Imperial Salt. I am trying to play through those. Everyone knows me. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm a huge board game fan. But for some reason, board games and Star Wars don't mix for me. This Imperial Salt has fallen flat. Here's the kicker. My board game group loves it. They can play Imperial Salt all day long. And I'm glad for that. And I'm the reason it hasn't been played as much. We played it once, first of the year, and then I put it up. And I've been, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, they keep asking for it. I need to bring it back. We'll do it this night. We'll do it that night. But I don't know. It's always because I played Descent for so long. And Imperial Salt seems like a cheap ripoff. Now, everyone will disagree with me. They say, oh, Matt, Imperial Salt, much better, much smoother way. It's like Descent, 2.0 and whatnot. And no, man, I think they made it more meticulous. And it's true. I mean, I was playing Descent for so long. This just feels, and the rewards seem very repetitive. There's no difference here. The minis look great. And, like I said, my gaming group, who has not played Descent, I played Descent with my nephews for 5 years straight. But my board game group loves this dungeon crawl. And it's the one I'm bringing out. We haven't pushed through that many adventures. And I really do need to get it back. So maybe at the end of the year, we'll play it. Like I said, they are the ones requesting it. I'm the one saying, yeah, but we will bring it out again. I'll try to do that around the holidays and play it because but every time I play it, I think I could be playing Descent. And I don't want to do that right now. I'm waiting for my kids to get older because those dungeon crawls, man, I want to play all the way through them, right? Then you're talking about years of just get table space. That's going to be when the kids are getting older, and I'm keeping all of Descent. And then maybe 5 years down the road, maybe my kids will be old enough or getting that age, maybe a little bit older, and we'll start playing all these dungeon crawls I have because I love them. It just takes up so much time at game night. I just don't give that much time to them. All right, number 218 is another new game to my collections from Eagle Griffin Games. It's Isarbi. Isarbi is right now, if you're looking at this video right now, it is on Eagle Griffin Games website for like $5, $10. I mean, steal alert. I really love this game. It's about Chinese fishing. The artwork is just so beautiful. The piece, nice little wooden boats, pieces, everything. Nice cardboard stuff, hard car stock. I don't know what the word is for it, but everything's just really excellently done. And it's a really fun game because you're taking these actions, upgrading your board, but when you get rewards, you want to spend them to do upgrades. But the key is you can't upgrade everything. If you do, you're going to lose. And I love that about the game because you're tempted to keep, oh, he's upgrading. Well, I need to upgrade my net. Do you really need to upgrade your nets? Or I need to upgrade and get these special cards to hold some fish for the next round because you only hold one for the next round. Well, do you really need it? You know, oh, I need extra actions. Yeah, I think everyone should get extra actions. But whenever you're doing that, remember, you're giving up a big block of points. And pretty sure by the end of the game, no one has ever scored over 20 points in any of our games. And I have always won because I'm the one that holds back. I'm like, I don't need to upgrade all my nets. I don't need to upgrade all these cards. Nope, I'm fine. I got my actions upgraded, and I got a few other things here and there, but I'm good. And I'll keep a lot of my money, where other people just start spending it all just to try to get upgrades. But then the game's over by then. That's a perfect balance to a game, in my opinion. I really love this game. I really think it's awesome. Like I said, if it's $5 right now, get it. If it's $10, it's worth it. It's a $20 game. It's worth that much. So really having a lot of fun with this. And it's a fishing game. Isarbi. All right, my number 217 is another dungeon crawl. It is Mice and Mystics. Also, Tail Feathers. I put that in there because it's kind of in the same world, even though it is a different game. This one, believe it or not, folks, I got to play Tail Feathers like earlier this year. I don't remember what was going on, but I was researching for some video, and I realized there was a Tail Feathers print and play that I never got. And when I was reading, I was like, I don't remember playing this adventure. And then I looked at because I print everything out and put it in my game, and it wasn't there. I was like, I missed a print and play. So at first I thought it was new, but it's an older print and play. And it's just like a little part of the story. I love the story from Mice and Mystics. I really do. And in the short time, I got to play one game of Tail Feathers. And, oh, man, the only thing about Tail Feathers is it just makes me want to play the game all over again. Mice and Mystics, everything. I think they may have reprinted a lot of this stuff. And so it's easier to find now. But either way, goodness gracious, this is a fun dungeon crawl. This will be, besides some kitty dungeon crawls, I think I have like one kitty dungeon crawl that I'll play with my younger kids. But when they get a little bit older, this is going to be the game that I'm going to play with my little girls, and they're going to love it. They're going to absolutely love it. I mean, hopefully my wife will get involved with this because this is a game that's right up my wife's alley. It's not too hard, but the gameplay in the storyline is so much fun. It sucks you in. Really love Mice and Mystics. All right, number 216, Eagle Griffin Games comes back with another new game added to my list. It is Baseball Highlights 2045. One of my favorite reviewers, the Board Game Geek. This is usually his number one. I've heard so many things about it. I think it was late last year, or sometime. Eagle Griffin Games had this on sale. They had the whole shebang for $100. And I was like, maybe I could get it. And because I don't like deck builders. In fact, I hate deck builders. I hate card games. If there's a game, just cards like this one, it's probably going to be low on my list. It's very hard to get my top 100 and just be a straight card game. Even though it's happened before. And I didn't know how I would react to Baseball Highlights. Now, I played it, and yeah, I'm okay. I love the cards. I love that they're from players back in an era when I was really into baseball. Like right now, I just watch my Mets and suffer through the season. That's it. But back then, I was watching all the teams. I was keeping up. I even collected cards for a short time. And so a lot of the players' names, they just switched up the names on their cards. And I love it. I get in fact, some of them were so random. So random. I was like, that can't be the person, but it's got to be the person they're talking about. And that person was only famous for like 2 seasons, maybe. No one else would know what that was. So for a true baseball fan, it is a joy. It is a joy for that reason. Thematically, I like the storyline to it too. And the problem I have with it isn't that I won't play it. Because I'll be honest, I'll play this game. I would sit down and play this game. Even though I don't like deck builders. Remember, it stayed in my collection. That's a good thing if it stays in my collection. But the thing is, who am I going to play with it? I mean, who am I going to play with? My nephews played it. They like deck builders, but they're like, meh. Which I hear if you don't like baseball, you'll still love this game. But they were just like, man, they like Magic and Pokemon. That's what they play a lot. So this was not up their alley. And one of my buddies said he'd play it with me, but very rarely do we have 2-player nights. We don't have two. I don't have 2 players at my table. At the minimum, we have 3. 4 to 3. So a lot of times 3, but sometimes 4. But we never have just 2. And so I don't know when this game is going to be played. I did try to play it solo. It's all right, but I'd rather play against another person. Plus, for $100, and all I got were these cheap little cardboard chitsy pieces for the runners that all look the same because they're so tiny. And if it's not a well-lit room, you could get mixed up with what's red, white, and blue. I'm going to have to buy meeples. I mean, in some versions of the game, I saw they had little wooden pawns. For $100, you think they could spring for some pawns or some meeples or something. So I was kind of disappointed about that too. I am going to have to buy some meeples for the game, though. It is in my collection again. And I do love baseball, and I wish this was higher. But unless I just find someone who can just come over on any night and just play, a bunch of tournaments with me, I don't know. It'll hang in my collection for sure, but I don't know how high it'll go in the future. All right, number 215. Oh, a lot of dungeon crawls here because I don't play dungeon crawls that much right now. But Space Hulk / Lost Patrol, I know they're two different games, but we kind of played them together. Lost Patrol is not that good. Don't get it. It's worth way too much money. Not worth it. But Space Hulk is a solid game. It's a solid game. It's so stinking good. In fact, out of all the dungeon crawls, this may be the number one I'm really looking forward to play. I guess that's why it's the highest here on my account, because when we played it, I can still remember all the grand stories because you can play that 3 players. You split the 2 Marines into 2 different teams. And, oh, man, it was so epic, some of the games we had on this. And I would love to play Space Hulk again. I really, really, really enjoyed Space Hulk. And it's not as long as all the other dungeon crawls either. But definitely a fantastic game. They've done so many reprints of this. I don't think it would be that hard to get, even though I know Warhammer comes with a high ticket price these days. But, Space Hulk. It's like Aliens, the board game. And Lost Patrol, I just realized this when I was doing my review on it years ago, is Predator, basically, even though it's not that good. Because the aliens always win. So unless you're going to make the most inexperienced player the aliens, and then you got a fair playing field. I mean, that's how powerful the aliens are. But either way, and maybe there's some rules that have come out on this lately that made Lost Patrol better. I've only played it a couple times, but either way, Space Hulk, excellent game. All right, number 214 is Temple Run. I got this board game. I played the app for years. I got rid of the app, and that's why this game started sinking. It was in my, I want to say it was in my top 100 for a while. But then when I stopped playing the app, it went outside the top 100. Now it's outside the top 200. It only gets played once a year. It's sad, too, because this is one of the few games my wife will play with me. Maybe that's why it's still in my collection. But it's really fun. You can get this game for super cheap. It's got a modular board. You're chucking dice over and over again. Certain dice get locked, the bad die. And you're thinking, I need to get as many run as I need. No, because if you get too many, you may land in a pit. And I always die that way. But you've got a timer. And if that timer goes off, then you go straight to you don't get any of your dice movements. You can keep re-rolling as much as you want. But eventually you got to hit that idle to stop the timer and then accept the dice you have. And you got to make sure you count out spaces too, because in the rush of it, you just don't think. You don't think about what spaces you're going to run into. It's excellent. It's excellent. It's an excellent game. Like I said, super cheap, right up your alley. Anyone's out there want some fun with a modular board that has several tiles that are front and back. So the game will always be different as you shuffle them up. And it is so much fun. Temple Run, my number 214. Number 213 is a co-op game. It's called Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. I should have add a caveat here. You should never play without the Creepy Cellar expansion. I think the Creepy Cellar expansion is great. Don't get the expansion pack that came out in the middle of those 2 games because they basically included that in Creepy Cellar. So Creepy Cellar just makes the game a little bit more tougher and a lot more fun. Well, I don't know how to say it, but you're busting ghosts, and then you're trying to get treasure down to the cellar if you have the expansion, just out the door if you have the base game. I don't know. Creepy Cellar used to be hard to get. I don't know if it's hard to get now, but either way, though, fun little co-op game. If you love co-op games, this one doesn't get played as much. It only got played once. I got a board game group. They're not much for the co-op. Every once in a while, they'll play some co-op with me, but not much for the co-op. So sadly, this game got kind of regulated outside my top 200, but it is a fun game. All right, number 212 is a excellent racing game called Ave Caesar. You have a deck of cards. Everyone has the same deck, but they don't have the same hand as they deal 3 in their hand. 3 cards in their hand, they got to play one. And it's not about being the fastest. It's using your cards wisely because no one can pass through your piece. So if there's only one row, sometimes there's 2 rows, sometimes there's just one. you want to land exactly on that one and then move very slowly. Use some of your slow-moving cards, forcing players to play a big card because they don't have anything in their hand and moving less spaces. And you're going for 2 rounds. The board's double-sided too. And because the deck of cards are come out differently, and it is about strategy. It's not just luck of the draw. There is a strategy involved in this, but it is so much fun. Unfortunately, out of print, way too much for the price. I can't suggest anyone get this because the value, the high price of it, but I don't think it's going to get a reprint. It just doesn't sound like anyone's going to give it a reprint, but they should, because it is a pretty stinking fun game. Just, too high a price. I can't recommend this racing game to everyone. And then finally, number 211 is a new game into my collection. It is Zapotec. Oh, man. Zapotec is a lot of fun because you're playing cards, basically buying huts, getting resources on your player board as you're moving. As you place that hut, you get to move that little tile piece around an area, whatever you play, the brick, I can't remember what the 3 stone, the wheat or whatever, and you're trying to gather more resources. But as you gather huts, you're placing them somewhere on your player board that's going to make your certain actions more powerful the next time you pick stone or brick or corn or whatever it is. I can't remember. But it's a lot of fun. The only problem with this game is my gaming group does not know how to play it. I don't know why. To me, it's not that confusing. But to them, it is just one big boondoggle, man. They don't know what's going on. And because one of the great things about this game is at the end, you're grabbing a card for your next turn. And there's only X amount of cards, plus 1 player out for taking. The last card left is the card that's going to score for the next round, meaning what area it is or what color it is or, what the design is. If you have the most huts in that little area, section, or, place, then you're going to get X amount of victory points. So the game is also trying to mitigate, say, oh, I really want that card. That's the best card. But if that card scores instead, I'll make 15 sweet points the next round. So never mind. I'll get the crap card I don't want because I definitely want them points. And that's why I keep trying to tell people how it works, and they just don't understand it. And they don't understand how in-game points work either. And it's so sad. So sad because this is such a fun game. Don't get the asymmetrical boards, though. They are crap. They're a waste of time. I don't even know what the point of them is. They just move the same 3 basic resources slightly around your board. That makes 0 difference in the game. But Zapotec on its own is a really fun game. I just wish my gaming group it's not clicking for them right now, and I hope it does. But anyway, that is so far my first round of games here that I'm ranking. Which other games did not make it in the top 200? Where you're going to have to come back next time, and I'll talk about it then. See you later.